Up on the solar eclipse this Monday. So excited for that. It's going to be a great viewing experience. And we have Georgia de Nolfo. I got you right, didn't I, Georgia? From NASA Goddard. She is a heliophysicist. Let's talk about the eclipse. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. So thanks for having me. So just to remind you of what the solar eclipse is like, you basically have the moon coming into between the sun and the earth, and it'll block out the majority of light coming from the sun. And as a result, it'll cast a shadow on the earth. So in Virginia, you'll be able to see a partial eclipse. About 78% of the sun will be covered. So what it'll look like is a crescent shaped in the sky. But if you're lucky enough to drive into the path of totality, then you'll actually be able to block out more of the light. And as a result, we'll be able to see the very faint atmosphere of the sun, which scientists call the corona. So it's a really exciting time to be able to see with the naked eye that atmosphere of the sun that we normally can't see.
Georgia, it is an exciting and just unbelievable event to take in. I was blessed to be in totality there in 2017 when we had that amazing eclipse back in the Midwest. For those people that are going to be here, they're not going to get the total eclipse, but they will be able to see it. They have to take steps, though, to protect their eyes.
Yes, that's a really good question. You do want to be safe whenever you look at the sun in eclipse conditions. And so take advantage of these solar eclipse glasses or solar viewing glasses. There's international standards for those. You definitely want to wear those when you're viewing the partial eclipse. The only time that you can actually view without those glasses is during totality. So if you travel to be in totality, then you can take those glasses off. The rest of the time, you really want to wear those glasses. But you can also view the sun indirectly. So you can make pinhole projectors. You can do that with a piece of paper, poke a little hole into it, and then project the sun onto a surface. I actually was in a partial eclipse, and I found that using the trees as pinhole projectors, using those leaves, was absolutely amazing, because then you see the ground covered in crescent shapes, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it is something to behold. What gets you most excited about this? I have a graphic up, and I don't know that you can see it, but, you know, we've got the different things that you could see at different times, from the diamond ring to Bailey's beads. There's all these different beautiful phases as the moon passes, you know, between the earth and sun. Tell us about what gets you most excited.
Well, I mean, honestly, every phase is really exciting. So, you know, as that moon is moving across the sun and you start to see those Bailey's beads, you're really just seeing the sunlight peeking through the different topology of the moon. I mean, it's just such a neat thought, right? To think about how the sun is getting through in the valleys and is being blocked by the mountains. And then, you know, and that actually, looking at those Bailey's beads and how they change from what we expect, because we actually know the moon's topology really, really well from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. And so if we can see that there are some differences from what we expect, then that actually tells us about the shape of the sun. So there's some real physics to be gleaned from that. But then as you move into totality, then you actually see the very, very faint atmosphere of the sun. And because we're going to be in conditions that were very different than in 2017, we're now entering into conditions where the sun is very active. And so the opportunities to see structure in that atmosphere, maybe even some eruptions occurring during that atmosphere. I mean, that is thrilling to me, just to be able to witness that.
I will tell you, that was one of the things, staring up and just seeing the little aura around the blacked out sun was just amazing. You know, they've been studying this and predicting these for thousands of years, but now there's some ways that we're now able to discover even more about the predictions on this. Talk to us about that.
Sure. So, I mean, we actually, you know, do a lot of things to look for the predictions of, you know, we know a lot more about the orbital mechanics of everything. The prediction itself isn't changing where the path will be for totality, but the edges, the subtlety of where the edge is in totality is something that is very tricky to do. So, you know, that, of course, accounts for, you know, whether or not there are changes that we didn't take into account on the lunar surface for the edges. And, of course, the edges, knowing where the edges are in the path of totality, that is the difference between, you know, getting a total solar eclipse for a few seconds and none at all. So, you know, so those kinds of things we work very hard to you know, improve.
That's amazing. All right, before I let you go, I got to ask you about the Parker Solar Probe. This sounds like an amazing mission. What's up with that?
Oh, the Parker Solar Probe is such an exciting mission and really breaking grounds in so many ways. So it's going to actually touch the sun's atmosphere. So that very atmosphere that you're going to witness when you look at the in the totality and you can see the atmosphere, Parker Solar Probe is going to pass right through it. And in fact, in December of 2024, Parker Solar Probe is going to make its closest approach to the sun, getting 4 million miles away from the surface of the sun. And that may seem like a lot, but I'm just reminding you that we are 93 million miles away here on Earth. So we're going to be able to witness how the sun evolves, how that solar wind that's coming off the sun is formed, and how eruptions occur just by passing that spacecraft through the atmosphere of the sun.
It is fascinating, and we love the work that you and your colleagues are doing. Thank you so much for spending some time, and we'll look forward, hopefully, fingers crossed, that we have good conditions for viewing that eclipse.
Yes, fingers crossed. Thanks for having me.